In this video, we would like to describe how to go to the Raven Marine FTP site and get a installer so that we can upgrade the Raven Marine Navigation Aid software on a Raven Marine Navigation Aid system. On the Raven Marine Navigation Aid system desktop, there's a laptop admin folder, usually at the desktop level. Sometimes it's in a subfolder in WH2 support. Before we can just click on laptop admin. Now here's the Raven FTP site. Before we click on that, we want to make sure that we have a connection to the internet. I guess the easiest way to do that is click on Internet Explorer, or if you've got Firefox, click on that. And if you are able to access your default web page, and press F5 just to make sure you're accessing it live, then you have an internet connection. So go ahead and click on Raven FTP site and type in a username and password. It turns out that if you didn't know the username and password, there's a text file in the laptop admin folder right next to the Raven FTP icon. You can look in there, just double left click on it, and it'll tell you what your username and password is. Click on Login. This folder appears. There's a primary folder and a beta folder. The primary folder contains software installers that install software that does not time out. The beta folder installs software that times out in typically 60 days. We'll select primary. There are two files here. One is a 33 megabyte file, which is the full installer. It was released on March 23rd. It contains the programs and the data set. And then there's a smaller file, about 13 megabytes, which is the S57 chart update for the month of April, and these are updated each month. So you can come here and update your S57 charts, get the installer, and then run the installer. So now we want to download this guy. So I'm going to squeeze this window up a little bit. And what you can do is click on, I'm going to click on the smaller file just for the purpose of illustration. Then I'm going to click on Save. And I want to save it to the desktop. So this window comes up. It's already pointed at the desktop. If it weren't, I could drop it down and select desktop. So now I'm going to click on Save. And the download commences, and it's showing it's going to be about 4 minutes. Well, I'm not going to wait for that. I just wanted to illustrate to you how you do the download. I've already got one I did. I've already done one. Here's an icon right here. For the full installer. That would take about 20 minutes to download. That's typical. If you have a larger installer, of course, obviously it will take longer than 20 minutes. So I'm going to run this installer. The one thing to remember before you run the installer is make sure that Wheelhouse 2 is not running. Very important, because if you ran the installer with Wheelhouse 2 running, some of the executables, such as the Wheelhouse 2 executable program, would not be updated from the installer. Double left click on that. This installer window comes up, says it's a primary release. The data set is HOU 1.79. Wheelhouse 1 version is 9.47. Wheelhouse 2 version is 2.5, and versions of various other support modules. Click on Setup. This takes about 30 seconds for this installer to run. And at the end of the installation, the release notes will come up, and so it'll be a good idea to read through those. It has release notes for all the modules that are included in the software, SYN Client, AIS Client, and Wheelhouse 2. And should be just about done. There's the release notes. And read down through those. And then when you click the close button, you're done. Now, the result of that installation will be an old, WH2 old, see here, and then there'll be a WH2 folder with the pilot, of course, the pilot group abbreviation right before the program name. So the old one is the primary software that you had installed prior to this installation. And so if there was something about the new software that you didn't like, you could go back to the old and have what you had before. So let's click on the new one. And at this point we are prompted to accept the license agreement. Now this license agreement prompt only occurs after the first time after the installation. It does not occur on subsequent invocations of the program. So I'm going to accept the software and do a normal start. This is a safety reminder, and this does occur on every invocation of the program. And press Y. That laser sound is send client announcing that it has connected to the internet. Now I'm going to just press OK to get into the F1 screen. And if I press F3, I can see here that the Wheelhouse version is 2.5. The configuration is HOU 1.79. And I want to press F5 to check the S50. Oh, you know what? To check the S57 chart installation. Right there. So the status column should show either in use or OK. Sometimes Wheelhouse 2 will tell you that you need to re-import, so you should come to this page and click on Import S57 Files. This particular chart is telling you that you can navigate while importation is happening, but it's going to use the basic chart view button because S57 charts will be disabled while importation is happening. It won't take very long though, 3 or 4 seconds. And so I say OK. Notice how the view button went from view 3 to view 6, and it went really fast, so we're done now. And I might say a couple things about this particular screen. The file date is the date that Raven downloaded these charts from the NOAA site, the NOAA website. The S57 date is the date that NOAA actually made a change to these files. And so we're going to click on OK, OK, click View button 3. And that's it for accessing the Raven Marine FTP site, downloading an installer, and then running the installer.